So today we will be talking about the 10 worst films of 2021. Now just remember, this is my list, my personal list, my opinion. These are the movies that I think are absolutely god awful and that are the worst of the year. I want to know your list. I want to know what you think is the worst movies of the year. Smash it down in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going because I'm going to be honest. I think some of you guys might have movies that I really enjoy in your worst movies. And I want to know if you guys do so we can have a cool discussion and be respectful and just have fun in the comment section. So, like, subscribe, and let's jump straight into the 10 worst movies of 2021. Number 10 is Cherry. This movie comes in, it's from Apple TV, starring Tom Holland. And I can tell you right now, I found it hard to find what I would put at number 10, and some of these movies that I saw earlier in the year, I kind of just forgot about, to be honest. Cherry's one of them. It's one of those very forgettable films. I think the main problem I have with Cherry is it doesn't know what it is. It feels like three completely different movies into one movie. There's no cohesion from one story to the next story to the next story, and it just really drags on. It's quite boring. I think probably the best part was probably the middle part of the movie, the middle story, because that seemed like it was the most interesting, and I wanted to see him in the military a lot more, where the other ones, they just kind of feel a bit like, meh. It's a good performance from Tom Holland, a good performance from most people, but I just think story-wise, the Russos just didn't do it for me. They didn't do it. I just couldn't get into the movie. I was bored. I was just kind of like, why? What's going on? Why is there this part and this part and this part? Why is it this long? There's just so many things wrong with Cherry, and it's very forgettable. So for me, number 10 is Cherry. Monster Hunter comes in at number 9. This movie, I actually was pretty excited for. I really liked the trailers. I thought it would look pretty cool. You got all these monsters. You got this cool weapons, this cool lore and everything like that. It's all there, ready to go. And I tell you what, it did not live up to the expectations at all. There is no real characters in this movie. I struggle to care about any of the characters. The only positive that I really have about this is the monsters looked cool, the designs looked cool, and some of the action was cool, but other than that, it's kind of like bland and boring. I mean, to have an action movie that focuses on killing monsters with these huge weapons and everything like that says something that, for it to be boring, that really says something about the filmmaking here. It's bland, boring, crap dialogue. It's just, I don't know what it is, but the director just did not have a good day at the office for this one. So for me, number 9, Monster Hunter. Number 8, Licorice Pizza, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Yes, I have been getting so much hate for this because I do not like this movie at all. And you know what? I don't care. I really do not care. This movie to me is absolutely horrible. Not only do you have a pedophilia storyline between a 25-year-old woman and a 15-year-old boy, it's kind of creepy. Reverse those roles, and this movie gets absolutely slated. It is creepy. And before you all say, oh, they don't do anything, she shows her breast towards him. She also kisses him at the end. She also flirts all the time with him. And there's multiple instances throughout the film where they relate to other characters who are friends with her of giving handjobs to Gary. Tell me that is not pedophilia. That is. It is. It is downright that. There are some remarks made towards Japanese people that I thought were racist. That's just my opinion. If it didn't for you, cool, whatever. And there's also stuff about Jewish people, and there's no structure to this. The scenes are just there. There's no cohesion at all throughout this whole entire movie. It's really bad in my opinion. The writing's terrible. It's cringy. The jokes just did not land at all. It wasn't funny. There's just plot lines unresolved, left, right, and center. And it's just an absolute jumble mess for me. So number 8 is Licorice Pizza. Number 7, Fast and Furious 9, Fast 9, whatever you want to call it, the Fast Saga, whatever. This movie is absolutely horrendous to me. The worst. I think it is the worst of all the Fast and Furious movies. I get what they were trying to do in the Fast and Furious movies. Yes, it was all about racing, and then they move on, and they start getting a bit out of hand. And you're kind of like, okay, I can suspend belief. But when you drive a car into space, that's a bit far. That is jumping the shark. Like, that is just to another level where I just can't get on board. I struggled with this film to really care. Dom is just OP. Again, the guy's never lost. He could literally walk in to the Justice League or the Avengers or anyone like that and just beat up anyone. Superman, come here. Dom will beat ya. There's just so many things here that are just jump the shark moments. The story is bland, boring. It's just, I don't know what they're doing with the Fast and Furious franchise, but I kind of feel like it's run its course now. I'm more interested in the Hobbs and Shaw storyline rather than the actual main Fast and Furious storyline now. I just think they need to end it, and hopefully Fast 10 is the final one, and they go back to the roots, but they probably aren't, so yeah. It is what it is. Number 7, Fast 9. Number 6, The Misfits. I can tell you right now, this movie is all about a heist. I love a good heist film. I really, really do. This movie is a heist film that is missing the heist. Yes, it is so like, I don't know, this movie is so forgettable. There's just nothing there. There's no substance. It's like eating a burger, but just having the bun. That's all this is. They with the main character, they try to make him, you get Pierce Brosnan to come in and play, and you basically treat him like he's James Bond, and like he gets all these girls and everything like that, and that's his main role. And there's just, it's boring. I don't care for any of the characters. It's like kind of like nothing happens in this movie, really. Really nothing happens. It's just bland and boring. Terrible writing. The location looks cool, but it's just, I don't know, I was really bored in this movie. And it's not a long movie, but it feels like it's a 3-hour movie. So for me, number 6, The Misfits. Number 5, The Escape Room 2, or The Clash of the Champions Clash, whatever you want to call this movie. I don't know why we needed a sequel to Escape Room, but here we are. We got a sequel, and I tell you what, it's horrendous. I did not like this, from unlikable characters to them having the main character just know all the answers to everything. It was like, they were just like puppy dogs, and they just turned and were like, yo, we'll listen to whatever you want because you know everything. No one had any input. The guy, her friend, was just basically simping for her the whole entire time, and I was kind of like, what? There is some traps, well, you can call them traps, I guess, escape room scenarios that didn't make any sense at all, and they were kind of like, I was sitting there, I was like, what is going on? Why? You can all fit in there. It's just, it's all over the place, it's all jumbled, it's convoluted, it's not very good. The dialogue, the characters, everything, it's just really bad. So for me, unfortunately, number 5 is going to be Escape Room 2. Number 4, Thunder Force. I mean, it's... You guys have probably seen this on Netflix. Whenever Melissa McCarthy does a movie with her husband directing, this is what we get. This is what we get. Unfunny. Terrible dialogue. The crappiest story you could ever imagine. This is borderline unwatchable. And this is only sitting at 4, so I think there's 3 movies that are worse than this movie. And I almost completely turned this movie off. I really did. I got about an hour in and I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. But I pushed through and I did watch it. It's just, it's terrible. I don't know. I don't have enough time to go through everything with you guys. It's just, I don't like this movie at all. So, number 4, Thunder Force. I mean, I can't even say the name right. Number 3, After We Fell. If you guys have been following the After trilogy, you know how bad these movies are. Where do I begin with this movie? Let's see. This movie is basically the second movie, just with a little bit of tweaking here and there. And our main two people, Tessa and Hardin, go through the same character arcs they went through in the previous two movies. One gets jealous and gets abusive and then lets the other one down, and then they make love and then it happens again. It's rinse and repeat. That's all it is. They are the most unlikable characters, I think, in all of cinema. Hardin just knows how to beat up anyone and doesn't lose a fight, so he's got the dom DNA in him, so he never loses. There's a fight scene in here where he just beats everyone up. I don't know how, but he just does. Then it's just so unlikable. There's scenes where he's like jealous over nothing because he does the exact same thing. It's just all convoluted and just terrible. Then you have this big twist at the end that makes no sense, and I'm kind of sitting there like, what is going on? There are so many moments where you have this dialogue and then they just turn into having sex all the time. It's horrible. It's a terrible film. Number 3, After We Fell. Number 2, Ascendant. This movie is god-awful to me. Absolutely god-awful. I can tell you right now, it's very forgettable because I'm trying to remember what this actual movie was completely about. But I do know there are some scenes in here where she's trapped in an elevator. And I don't understand why these people are after her or anything like that. The whole backstory with her and her sister is never explored, never explained. They don't show you anything to do with that. They don't show you anything with her sister coming to save her or nothing like that. Then there's this moment where the bad guys are talking to her on the phone and they're like, it's just so like, you're sitting there and you're like, this is not realistic at all. And this is like the dumbest thing. You have this number and you don't have an uncle called that, but you answer it like you do have an uncle, and then you're like, oh my god, I don't have an uncle. Why have I been talking to these people all the time? I'm sorry. I think I would know if I had a number in my phone and it was like someone that I didn't know that, and I don't have them as a family member. I'm pretty sure I'd be able to be like, I'm not answering that. And then they go through all these buildings and it takes them forever. And then she's got these powers that they never explain. Oh, but the one that really got me was she was walking out and her phone falls out and it literally lands on a metal railing that's like this wide. It lands perfectly on there and just stops and stays there. It's just awful. This movie is so awful. No character development, no story, no nothing. Number 2, Ascendant. Number 1, Cosmic Sin. How on earth do you have a movie with Bruce Willis and Frank Grillo in it, yet it is the most boring, dull movie you've ever seen? Where do I begin with this? Let's start off with Bruce Willis. This guy just came in, collected his paycheck, and phoned the rest in. He did not give two shits about this movie at all. You can tell in this movie. This movie is like an hour and a half or something like that. It feels like it's 2.5 hours. There is literally no story at all. The alien villains literally are about to invade, and they just say to Bruce Willis, yeah, you can kill us. It's all good, man. And then they just die. There's just so many moments in this film that I'm kind of like, what the hell is this movie? From terrible dialogue, to terrible visuals, to terrible everything. This is the worst movie of the year in my opinion. How you can make an hour and a half film feel like 3.5 hours is beyond me. There's no good action. There's nothing. It is the most dull crap I've ever seen. And it was a sci-fi movie and I was so excited for it. I was like, cool, sci-fi, aliens, everything I want in it. And from the first moment I knew, as soon as I saw that first scene, I'm like, we're in for a freaking ride here because this is going to be god awful. And it was. So number 1, Cosmic Sin. So there you have it. That is my top 10 worst films of the year of 2021. Let me know in the comments below, what did you guys see and what is your worst movies of the year? I am very interested. I want to see if you guys have some of my favorites in there. I really want to know because I love it when we have diverse opinions. I think some of you guys may have some of mine higher up in your list as well. That's awesome, and I envy you guys if you did like any of the movies that I didn't like. I really envy you, because I go in hoping to like every single movie. So let me know in the comments below, smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe, and peace out.